All right, let's get right into it. We're going to dig into something I think a lot of us are curious about. What are the top students really doing differently? You know, it's not some kind of magic, and it's definitely not about being born a genius. It all comes down to habits. And today, we are pulling back the curtain on the exact blueprint for academic excellence. So let's dive in.
I mean, have you ever looked at that one person in your class who just seems to have it all together and wondered, how on earth do they do it, right? Like, do they have some secret 25th hour in the day? Are they just naturally smarter? Well, the answer, and this is the good news, is almost always no. The real difference is in their approach, their systems, and yeah, their daily routines.
And that's exactly what we're focused on today. We've basically taken all the essential habits from our source material and boiled them down into a super clear, actionable blueprint. So you can think of this as your own personal guide for putting the same strategies that fuel the most successful students into practice. Okay, so first things first, how you start your day. And listen, this isn't just about dragging yourself out of bed. It's about waking up with intention. This first habit, it's really the foundation that everything else is built on. And look, don't get hung up on the 5:30 a.m. part. It's not really about this specific time. The real magic is what that time gives you, that quiet, that focus, and just the mental space to plan. This student isn't just reacting to whatever the day throws at them, they're actually designing their day before the chaos even has a chance to start. You know, that one single decision, it creates this incredible ripple effect. You're not just getting more time, you're getting control. You set a positive tone, you carve out uninterrupted time for studying, you can even make space for exercise or meditation. It all adds up. It's like they say, win the morning and you're setting yourself up to win the whole day. All right, so that morning clarity leads us right into our next habit, which is all about the actual work of studying. Now, this is a phrase we've all heard a million times, but the top 1%, they actually live by it. They're all about focusing on the effectiveness of their study sessions, not just clocking in more and more hours. Okay, so look at this. On the left, you've got what most of us do, right? Passive stuff like rereading notes or highlighting everything in sight. It feels like work, but the information just doesn't stick. But on the right, that's the game changer. Active learning forces your brain to really grapple with the material, to pull it out, summarize it, test yourself. I mean, seriously, try teaching a concept to someone else. It's probably the single best way to find out if you truly understand it.
So how do you actually apply this active learning stuff in a structured way? Well, a lot of top students use a system just like this. And the real secret of the Pomodoro technique isn't the 25 minutes. It's the intense, one thing at a time focus you have during that window. Then, that little 5-minute break lets your brain reset, it helps you avoid burnout, and keeps your focus sharp, even over long study sessions.
Okay, so you've got your morning routine down, you're studying smarter, but what are you actually aiming for? Think about it. Without a clear destination, even the fastest car is just driving in circles. And that's exactly where our third habit comes in. It's all about giving your effort a clear direction. There's something really powerful in this simple statement. It's not about having this fuzzy dream of, oh, I want to get good grades. It's the actual physical act of writing down specific goals for the month, for the week. That's what turns a vague wish into a concrete plan of attack.
And that's exactly why this is so huge. A big goal like write a 20-page paper, that's just overwhelming, right? But breaking it down into a weekly goal, like draft the outline by Tuesday, suddenly feels doable. And each one of those small wins builds momentum. It creates this awesome feedback loop of success that keeps you focused and, honestly, keeps you accountable to yourself.
Now, this next habit might actually surprise you. We have this image, right, of the brilliant student locked away studying all alone. But what the source material shows is that the very best students get that learning is often a team sport. And let's be clear, a good study group isn't about copying answers. It's about stress testing your own knowledge. The second you try to explain a concept to someone else, you realize how well you actually know it. And when you hear how they see it, you suddenly find the gaps in your own understanding. It's like a massive shortcut to deeper learning. This is so important. The strongest students, the ones at the very top, are humble enough to know what they don't know, and they're confident enough to ask for help. They see teachers, tutors, even their friends as resources to tap into, not as people who are judging them. And finally, we've come to the habit that honestly holds everything else up. Because look, you can have the best plans, the best techniques, the best study groups, but if your mind and body are running on fumes, you're just not going to get very far. High performance requires high maintenance. This student absolutely gets it. Things like exercise, sleep, and just taking a break, they aren't things you do if you have leftover time. No way. They are the very things that create the ability to do high-quality, focused work in the first place. A sharp mind is a well-rested, well-cared-for mind. Period.
So what does this balance look like in the real world? Well, take a look at this. Notice how studying is the biggest piece of the pie, but it's still less than half. And check this out. A full 30% is just for rest and sleep. That's not being lazy. That is a strategic decision to make sure you have the energy to perform at your best. And really, that's the bottom line here. Burnout is the absolute enemy of excellence. You can't achieve long-term success if you're just stuck in a cycle of cramming and then crashing. Real, sustainable success is built on a foundation of well-being. When you boil it all down, every single habit we've talked about today comes back to this one powerful idea. From starting your day with intention, to studying actively, to setting clear goals, working with others, and taking care of yourself, every single piece of the puzzle is about increasing the impact of your effort, not just the number of hours you put in.
So there you have it, the 5 core habits, the strategies, the whole mindset. It's not some secret code anymore. You now have the exact same blueprint that the top 1% of students use to get where they are. And that really brings us to the most important part of all of this, because knowing this stuff is one thing, but doing it is where the real power is. So I'll leave you with this final thought. Looking at this whole blueprint, which one of these habits are you going to start tomorrow?